Welcome to the Iferia TechCast, where we bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today we are joined by Natascha Harris, the founder of Beauty Shots Nova, a modern Medspa that's redefining aesthetics treatment. She specializes in non-surgical ultrasound-guided procedures using technology to make cosmetic enhancements safer and more precise. She's built her business on the foundation of trust and empowerment, helping clients achieve natural-looking results. In this episode, we'll explore the intersection of beauty and technology and what it takes to build a brand in a competitive industry. So, Natascha, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's dive in. Your journey began with a passion for beauty and wellness. So, what was the defining moment that pushed you from, having that passion to taking the bold step of founding your own med spa?
Well, I've always been very entrepreneur type personality, and I'm a registered nurse by profession. So before I was doing aesthetics and beauty, I was working in the hospital and working at the bedside. So I kind of wanted to take all the things that I love, which is, feeling beautiful, looking beautiful, helping other people feel beautiful, doing it safely, providing that patient centered and specific care, along with my business minded goals. And I started my own med spa. So that's kind of how it started.
So, Natascha, you specialize in ultrasound guided treatments. So, can you just briefly explain how this technology works and how it transforms the safety and precision of non-surgical body contouring?
Sure. So one of the main concerns for complication with liquid fillers, whether they're in your face or in your bum area, is that there could be a vascular occlusion, which is when the filler gets inside of like your blood vessels. So using ultrasound guided technology, we're able to look at each person's specific anatomy and make sure we're not anywhere near any blood vessels so that we can safely inject the filler and reduce and minimize from that. I knew it was going to fall. Reduce and minimize any risk for any occlusions. So the ultrasound is just an easy, safe, non-invasive way to guide the strategic placement of the filler.
All right, that was really insightful. So, building a trusted brand in the beauty industry is notoriously difficult. So, what has been your single most effective strategy for building genuine trust with your clients in a field that can often be filled with hype?
Sure. Well, I think that's the nurse in me. So first, I really try to educate my clients and give them my best recommendation and what I think is best for them. So once they see that they can trust me and I'm not just trying to sell them a product, because if I don't think it's right for them, I will, let them know, or I will decline someone who is not a good candidate. So it's not just about the sale, but it's about the treatment and if I can bring an improvement to them that outweighs any risk that they would have. So I think a lot of times building that trust and that rapport with the client initially will often make them feel more comfortable in your hands, which is ultimately I take that very seriously, and I'm very grateful that my clients trust me and they trust my recommendations and my judgment and my professionalism. And then a lot of times referrals and word of mouth is ultimately what builds kind of your reputation. And then brings that standard of trust, when someone comes through the door.
Fantastic. So, can you share a specific story about a particular challenging obstacle that you faced while building Beauty Shots Nova? And also, what did that experience teach you about resilience and, creative problem solving?
For sure, there's lots of complications because it's not just starting a business, which businesses in general tend to fail within the first year, and then 10% of those don't make it past 5 years. So building a business itself is often very challenging and you have to be resilient and overcome. But when you're dealing with the medical aspect, even more so, because if you want to do everything professionally in the right way, you have to have all the licenses in place. So in the United States, you have to be a registered nurse or higher to do any type of injections. And then in each individual state, there may be different rules on who can own a med spa and then who can actually perform the treatments. So I live in the state of Virginia, which fortunately in Virginia, anyone is permitted to open a med spa. You know, just Joe Schmo could be the owner. They just have to have the proper licenses in place to perform the treatments. So that was something to my benefit. I strategically chose a location in my state that allows me access to the neighboring states, which is DC and Maryland. Their laws there are different, but in the DMV area of Northern Virginia, you have clients from DC, Maryland. It's like 30 minutes, to the border. So that was a strategic placement and allowed me to own and operate the med spa. I do have to have a medical director as part of my team for oversight. I also have to contract with nurse practitioners to provide good faith exams and clearances before treatment. So those were all things that I kind of had to research and learn and then coordinate with these different professionals and individuals to be able to even operate or exist officially and legally in my state.
All right. So, how do you navigate the crucial balance between leveraging the latest technological innovations while ensuring every single treatment remains unequivocally safe and delivers a natural looking result?
So that's a great question because you kind of want to be ahead of the trend in certain areas, but then you also want some proven track record that things are safe. So if you're getting things when they first come out, you sometimes don't have the benefit of seeing other people and numbers, because numbers tell you a lot. The more and more people get it, you see more and more things that can happen. So with that, I tend to stay more on the safe side. Sometimes what's new and what's out is more like a fad, and I don't think it's always the best to just go with what you see on social media or what people may be doing because it's not always safe or has long-term benefits. So I do tend to stick to a lot of treatments that are proven to work and that are also proven to be safe, that have minimal downtime, minimal risks, like non-invasive things. There are great ways to use like ultrasound, cavitation, and high intensity frequency ultrasound, like HIFU. So that's all using like technological advancements while still having kind of a proven science. Those aren't things that just came out of nowhere. They maybe were used more in the medical field and now they're crossing over to aesthetics. So most of my treatments are, they've been around a while. Like I said, they're proven, they have proven results, they have minimal to low risks. And sometimes I just kind of let everybody else try out the new fads first and see how that works for them before I jump on the bandwagon.
All right. So, moving forward, the term liquid BBL is trending. So, what is the truth about this procedure, and what should people realistically expect, and what are the key safety considerations they need to know?
Sure. So first, the truth about the liquid BBL is that it's not cheaper than a surgical BBL. The filler is a medical grade filler and it's very expensive and you need a lot of it in order to see results. So this is not something that's a cheaper alternative to surgery. It's a different alternative and people choose it for different reasons. The ideal candidate for a liquid BBL is someone who has already put some type of maybe effort into working out or getting towards their goals, but they're needing a little extra touch in that area. Often, someone with a smaller frame and a slim build or athletic build is a good candidate. They often don't even qualify for a surgical BBL if they wanted one because they don't have enough fat to transfer. Also, with a more smaller petite frame, a little bit of filler goes a long way and it's more noticeable. Now, we do have a lot of curvy girls and girls who have already had a surgical BBL. That is also like a big percentage of my clients, and it works really nice on them because the filler can touch up maybe little areas of imperfection that they had after their surgical BBL settled, or some girls didn't have enough fat to transfer to have a hip area. They just have projection in the buttocks. So the filler complements that. What it is not good for is people who have a large weight loss and loose skin. A lot of times now with all the weight loss meds like Ozempic and Manjaro, you see people who may have lost weight by eating less, but they didn't really work out and they didn't tone their body. So they have a lot of loose skin. And when you insert that filler into the area of loose skin, it just kind of spreads out. And there's a lot more needed. So they would need maybe multiple rounds and a lot more filler in order to have that projection. The filler is kind of natural to the body, so the body will metabolize it. So it is not permanent, just like facial fillers, lip fillers, you have to maintain it. So the liquid BBL lasts, anywhere from 1 to 2 years. Most people will get maintenance treatments within to 12 months so that they can maintain those new curves that they love. So it's not a one and done. There are very, very few things in the aesthetic and beauty industry that are a one and done. Surgery is not even a one and done because it requires a lot of follow up, post op massages and treatments and all of that. So with the liquid BBL, a lot of people, like I said, have that misconception that it's cheaper than getting a surgical BBL. It's not. It is a lot safer. You don't have to go under. You have less downtime. So it's good for people who have a very active lifestyle. And it's a nice alternative for people who don't want such dramatic results and just want more of a subtle enhancement.
Awesome. So, for you, Natasha, what does the word empowerment mean in the context of your work, and how do you see it impacting your clients' confidence and lives long after they leave your clinic?
For sure. When you look good, you feel good, and everybody has their own version of beauty. So I'm here to make my clients happy with what their goals are. And sometimes just a little change, like hip dips when the area on the side where your hips and your buttocks dent in, sometimes make women so insecure, especially in wearing tight form dresses and things like that. And just adding a little bit of filler to that area gives them a nice contour and shape and then gives them that confidence back to wear things or take pictures that they usually never would have. And it, I think, empowers women to feel their best and then go out there and do their best and give their best. So I have a lot of clients who like cry tears of joy at the end of the appointments. And I didn't realize how much that like mattered to them or how much they've been insecure about it until I see the like joy in their face that that's something that they've been looking in the mirror and have hated all of their life. And like within 1 hour treatment, it's gone. So that's a nice thing. And it makes me feel empowered with what I'm doing every day because as a nurse, I still do want to do good and help people. That's what initially motivated me and chose this career path. So I think this is a nice way to give give that same feeling to my client.
All right. So, Natasha, if a client is feeling overwhelmed by all the cosmetic options available today, what is the first piece of advice you give them to help them make a safe and informed decision?
I would recommend them to have a consultation. Here at Beauty Shots, we offer complimentary, like 15-minute phone consultations where you can have a conversation with a nurse injector, someone that has more experience and that can give you some recommendation and some guidance because you don't know what you don't know. So if you talk to a professional, you kind of let them know what your goals are and what you don't like or what you would like to change. And then we can give you the best recommendation on how maybe to start that journey. I think having a consultation, uh, conversation with a real live person and getting real answers is the first step.
Okay. So, for you, what has been the most rewarding feedback that you've ever received from a client? A moment where you knew you had truly made a difference in how they see themselves.
For sure. So for me, the most rewarding experience is when I see them, like the reveal at the end, and they see their new self, whether it's like hips, the butt, lips. And sometimes, like I said, they cry tears of joy, but they are finally happy with what they see in the mirror. And that means, I did my job well, and that gives me joy and motivates me to keep doing it.
Fantastic. So, looking at the future, what emerging technology or trend in non-surgical aesthetics are you most excited about, and why would you say that?
Well, one of the things that we're going to start offering is PRP, which is where we use your own like plasma to do things like restore hairline, or also you can use it for under eyes that are like dark or sunken in. You can use it for facials. So it is where we basically draw the blood from the client, we spin it in a machine that then separates the plasma, which is then injected back in, but in specific targeted areas. That is something that is very low minimal risk. You're using your own body's natural ingredients instead of something that you have to buy and inject in yourself. So it's a natural kind of alternative. For some people who don't want filler, you can use it that way. You can restore and rejuvenate some of the volume loss and also hair loss that people experience with aging. So I think that's the beauty with aesthetics is trying to keep it as natural as you can and still being naturally you, just like a better version. And PRP is an amazing thing that I think a lot of people don't know about. But, stay tuned. That's something that we'll be offering come 2026.
Great, Natasha, in your work, which redefines beauty through safety, technology, and empowerment. So, what does the word innovation truly mean to you today?
So, to me, innovation is definitely what aesthetics is all about. So, we're using new things or some things that we already had, but we just didn't know how they could be used to give us new results. And we're always like improving. We've come a long way in aesthetics. And I think that even through surgeries, like cosmetic surgeries are getting easier, safer. The treatments that are offered are being more available to the everyday person. Um, and I think it's helping us all kind of learn from each other as well and incorporate new ideas. So I'm excited to see what the future brings as we definitely come along.
Interesting. So it's been a really insightful conversation with you here today. Finally, for our listeners who are inspired by your mission and want to learn more about your service, so where is the best place?
So the best place to connect with us and to keep up with our latest treatments and promotions is through our social media on Instagram.